Learn!
1,
2, 3.
How's it going, everyone? It's Learn 1, 2, 3. Today we're going to talk about gun safety. We're going to go over some basic rules that everyone should follow. Now, this video is geared toward beginners, maybe toward people who've never held a gun before. However, if you've grown up being taught unsafe habits, then this might be a good remedial course for you. So why don't we get started? Rule number 1, the first rule of gun safety is to always treat any firearm as if it is loaded. Now, anyone with some firearms experience can tell you that you cannot tell by looking at any of these weapons whether they are loaded or not. Just because the weapon has a magazine in it doesn't mean it is loaded, but you should always treat it as if it is. Why don't we see? Oh, this one was loaded. Is it unloaded now? Always check the chamber to be sure if a weapon is loaded or not. If there's nothing in the pipe, you still treat the weapon as if it is loaded.
Here's an example of what it looks like when it is loaded. See that round in the chamber? This particular weapon has a loaded chamber indicator, but they don't all have loaded chamber indicators. Now you can see the pipe is empty.
And don't point it at anything you don't intend to destroy. This weapon is unloaded. That magazine is empty, but we still check the chamber. Chamber appears to be empty. We would see a cartridge in this hole here at the back of the barrel if this weapon was loaded. But we always treat a weapon as if it is loaded. The second rule of gun safety is, since we always treat weapons as if they are loaded, we never point a firearm in the direction of anything we don't intend to destroy. So if there's a person over here, I don't even lay the gun down pointing in the direction of people. The third rule of gun safety is to always use your safety mechanisms if your weapon has them. Not all weapons have them. One way to tell for a lot of American-made weapons is if you see red, that means danger. So that is safety off, fire mode. That is safety on, non-fire mode. Here's another example of a safety. See the letter S right here? The S is showing. That means the weapon is on safe. If I push it forward, cover the S, the weapon is on fire. Put the safety back on, it is on safe. And it's very easy to make a mistake with a firearm. As you can see, safety is off on this weapon. Now we put it back on. However, safeties can fail. Safeties may block a certain part of the mechanics of a weapon, but over time they can wear down due to user error and all other sorts of mistakes people make. Safeties have been known to fail. So always keep safety in mind, because once a bullet leaves that barrel, once a shotgun shell leaves one of these barrels, you can't take it back. The fourth rule of firearm safety is trigger discipline. Do not ever touch the trigger until you are right about to be ready to fire. Trigger discipline. You'll notice I do not carry this weapon with my finger touching the trigger. You want to practice, if you're pulling a weapon from its holster, to not accidentally touch the trigger, especially if you carry with your weapon with a round chamber. The fifth rule of firearm safety is to always use your head. Always be mindful of which direction your weapon is pointing, and we exaggerate safety with firearms. Always exaggerate safety. we don't point our firearms in any direction we please. If there's a bunch of people over here, I make a point of not pointing my firearm in that direction. If there's a bunch of people over here, I make a point of not pointing my firearm in that direction. Ever. The reason for this I'll explain in later videos, particularly my used gun buyer's guide explaining what a sear is. The next rule of firearm safety is when we are exaggerating firearm safety, whenever handing a firearm to somebody, it is customary to unload the firearm and show that it is unloaded by locking the action open.
The seventh rule of firearm safety is to always be sure of your backstop. When you go out shooting, follow all range rules, regulations, and laws. But a good general rule, if you have your own land, your own place to shoot, is to have a tall hill. And when I say tall, I mean, I'd say a good 10 feet tall or more. A berm or hill of dirt, or 40 yards of woods minimum, to stop any rounds so that they don't go through and hit somebody on the other side. We see Joe right here practicing good firearm safety by having a good true backstop for his cartridges to fire at, for his bullets to stop. And here we see Bob doing it the wrong way. Bob is shooting at a paper target with no backstop in between him, children, other people's automobiles, and houses. So we have the right way and the wrong way.
The eighth rule of firearm safety is to never store your ammunition and your weapon in the same place. If an intruder or a child or an irresponsible person was to find a firearm, then it is an extra step in safety that the ammunition be stored in a separate location. If you must carry a weapon or store a weapon while it is loaded, then it is important that you keep limited access to that weapon, either by a locked safe, by a trigger locking mechanism, or by an externally operated key safety, such as featured on Taurus handguns.
Rule number 9, always use the ammunition that your weapon is designed for. Now here I have one cartridge next to each gun that it goes with. As you can see, 45 ACP is a pretty good size round. We have 9mm auto. .22 long rifle. This is a rimfire cartridge. 25 ACP, which is center fire. So the size of the weapon isn't an indication of the size of the round. This is a larger weapon overall, but it fires a smaller .22 caliber cartridge. This is an overall smaller weapon, but fires a larger round, the 25 ACP. This rifle also fires the .22 long rifle round. So some weapons use the same round, but not all. And chambering incorrect ammunition in one weapon can lead to catastrophic failure. So always make sure that you only use ammunition that is indicated for your weapon. Which brings us to rule number 10. The 10th rule of firearm safety is to read your weapon's manual. Okay? Reading the manual will help you know which types of rounds will function the best in your weapon typically, and which ones will not. I hope you learned something, and I hope that you enjoyed the video on gun safety today. I know that if you follow all of these rules, you're much less likely to have an accidental shooting. And I'd like if you would use the comment section below and share any of your own experiences with gun safety, close calls, or anything that you'd like to add that you feel like this list of 10 rules is missing. If you haven't subscribed yet, click that subscribe button in the bottom right. I don't know where it is.
check out these cool videos that are linked up here for other links to, that's if you're on the YouTube platform. If you're on the Skillshare platform, I have a discussion question. And so that's my class discussion question, is I want you all to share something that you've learned from this course, or I want you to ask a question about anything that isn't quite clear yet, or any specific questions you have about your own weapons or weapons you've inherited. Thanks for watching, everyone, and check back for my next video.